उसको भी शो करना पड़ेगा उसका काउंटरवेट का रिटर्न के लिए। हालांकि उनका इंडेंट लिख दिया, रिटर्न में लिख दिया।
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible. You can start.
Yeah. So can I start the session?
Yes, sir. Yes, sure.
It's already 7:30. Right? Or you have to make some announcement or something.
No, sir. No, sir. You can directly start the session.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Hello. Very good evening, everyone. This is Anuday Sachan.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. So from today onwards, we are going to start our session on billing estimation and rate analysis. Okay. We will be together for coming 1 month. All right. It's a long day session. Okay. And we will be learning all about estimation, billing, and rate analysis. Right. So before we begin and before we start reading what is quantity estimation and all those things, before we begin our session, what I want from you all right, that when you are in a class, make sure that try that you are with your laptops or something. All right. Make sure you have Excel, because we will be doing live exercise as well. All right. So it will be more easy for all of you if you will sit with your laptops, okay, and try to join the classes in laptops only. Okay. And second thing is, whatever the doubts you will have in between the session, don't hesitate to put your comments on the chat box. Okay. Drop your each and every comments. Don't bother whether it is a silly comment or anything. Whatever the doubts you have related to the topics, okay, put in the chat box. All right. Each and every doubts will be taken. Okay. And from coordinator, I request that whatever the doubts will be coming in the chat box, please make sure that you copy paste all the doubts in Excel file. Okay. And after that, you can forward it to me. Okay, guys. And one more thing, that today we are in an introductory session. So I would like to interact with all of you. All right. Before we go into the deeper side of the session. So first of all, let me know how many of you are in a job, or how many are studying at college, how many are in the final year, whatever you are doing right now, you can just put on the chat box. Am I audible to everyone, right? Transportation, okay. How many of you are doing job? Okay, Harshit, I'm taking water resource engineering. What about others? I think we are 13, 14 people here. One who is structural engineer, was doing last year and doing job in Nasik Smart City. Okay. MBA CPM. Okay. Running a startup. Okay, so what is your startup about?
My startup is about essential oils. I make essential oil blends and doing online selling, online business with that.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
you are willing to start in civil industry from now onwards.
Yeah, I
From
worked
back.
like after 2015, I worked for 1.5 year, and now I'm getting
All right.
back to the work.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you everyone. You all have dropped whatever you are doing right now. Most of the students are PG student in transportation and geotechnical engineering. All right. So here the lecture is about quantity estimation, billing, and rate analysis. All right. So let's move forward. Okay. And so today what we are going to do, today we will have some basic introduction that what is this course about, okay, what you will learn throughout this course within a month of schedule, okay, and I'll talk about some basics, okay, you already know about those things, but we will just recall them all again, so that because those things are going to be used in between the session, okay, in between these days, all right. And again, I will tell you that please make sure that whenever you are in the session, be on the laptops, okay? Try to work those things, try to implement those things, okay? Whenever I'll be showing in Excel file, because see, one thing is there, one constraint is there that we are not in a classroom, right? We are on a live session, okay? So we have limited time also. We'll have 1 hour of session. Okay. So I'll be guiding you. Okay. I can't do each and every calculation, but yes, I can guide you properly. All right. So make sure you sit with your Excels. Okay. We will do a complete estimation, billing, rate analysis, everything. All right. So let's begin the session. Okay. So the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let us first discuss about that what you are going to learn in this session. Okay. Since we are going to do each and everything, it's a better idea how to read all those types of drawings. Okay. There will be several types of drawing. Okay. So you'll get an idea how to read drawings. This is obviously this is a very basic thing, but as many of you have not went to the site, then it will be really beneficial to all of you. Okay. Then we will learn everything basics a civil engineer should know before joining the workforce. Okay, before joining the industry, there are few basic things. Okay, today in this slide, whatever I'll be sharing with you, that's not the complete thing. Okay, we will go one by one. When we will read a bar bending schedule, we will know some things related to structure as well. All right, so part by part we will initiate. Okay, we will cover all the basics things, okay, which a civil engineer should know before joining the workforce. Okay, then construction process and project stages, how construction industry works. Okay, what is the process of a project? Okay, from the concept to the demolition stage, what are the stages? All right, in construction project. Then we will see roles and responsibility of a quantity surveyor as well as billing engineer. Okay, basic functions of MS Excel. All right, we will not go, I'll tell you clearly, we will not go in the advanced things. Okay, we will just cover the basics things which are required for a billing engineer, for a quantity surveyor. All right, because there are vast things in MS Excel. Okay, complete planning can be done. Even you don't need MSP or Primavera. Okay, you don't need softwares like Power BI and all. You can prepare a handsome dashboard as well in MS Excel. Those are in some other courses. All right, so here we'll be covering the basics things about MS Excel. All right, so these are the things you will learn through this course. Next, you will be able to prepare a BOQ of a real time. Sorry, it's a time, my mistake. Okay, real time project. Okay, you will learn how to prepare a bill of quantity. Okay, then we will also do bar bending schedule. Okay, we'll cover bar bending schedule, how you will prepare a bar bending schedule. Okay, for all the structural members. All right, then quantity surveying and rate analysis according to CPWD. Okay, daily scheduled rate will you be using there. Okay, then the concept of rolling margin, reconciliation, and DPR. Okay, here DPR is daily progress report, not a detailed project report. Okay, then billing process and how to prepare RA bills, running account bills. Then allowable wastage and how to control it. This is very important factor if you are a quantity surveyor or billing engineer. This plays a major role. Okay, creating shortcut templates in Excel. What do you mean by this? Sorry, please mute yourself. Okay. Creating shortcut templates in Excel. We'll create some shortcut templates so that what we'll do, we'll just input the values, you'll get the result. Okay. It can be used for estimation. It can be used for getting the bar bending schedule. Okay. So those things we are going to create shortcut templates in Excel. Okay. Then construction process and project stages. This I think I have already covered in the last point. Then understanding the SOR and DAR. Okay, we'll be covering all those things. So there are these things are there which you will be learning in this course. Okay, so let's move forward further to the next slide. Now this is very basic. Mix design. Okay, what is concrete mix design? Here M denotes the mix and the number denotes the characteristic compressive strength of a mix design in Newton per mm square in 28 days. All right. So this M stand for mix, and this is the characteristic compressive strength. All right. And what you need to remember these ratios. Although it's not a tough thing, okay, but just make sure that in this course you need to remember these ratios. Okay, what is M5 1510, M 7.5148? Now how you will learn? I may help you with a simple logic. Okay, we are just going here 5 to 7. There's an increment of 2.5. Other than this, 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 and to 25. All right. So there's just one thing which is in an increment of 2.5. 1.5. Other than that, all are just going double, double, double. Okay. Then we just come this side ratio. Okay. So cement, this denotes cement, this denotes sand, and this denotes aggregate. So aggregate will be just double of sand. All right. So no need to worry about this thing. Now for M5, the ratio will be 1:5. Okay. Then you just have to drop it. Okay. You have to drop it 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And here after 2, you'll have a gap of 0.5. All right. So 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1.5, and then finally 1. Okay. Here how it was in reverse order: 5, 7.5, 10, 15, 20, 25. All right. So these are the ratios for mixed design. Then the minimum ratio used for PCC work, plain cement concrete. Okay. M15 will be used. This is the minimum grade of, okay, this is the minimum mixed design. All right. Then for RCC work, minimum will be M20. All right. These 2 points you have to remember. It may be asked from you while interviews. Let us move further. Let's discuss about the clear cover. When you will deal with the bar bending schedule, okay, then you have to remember these clear cover. Although there's one more important point to be noted, that these are not mandatory. Okay, whatever is there, it may vary. Okay, but I'm assuming that mostly this will be the clear cover. Okay, so for footing, clear cover will be 50, column 40, beam 25, and slab 20. I'll be considering these clear cover during this course. Okay, it's just pretty simple: 50 to 40, and then half of 50 and half of 40. Now let's move further. What is the difference between effective cover and clear cover? Clear and nominal cover are just both are same. Okay, so if these are 2 bars, okay, let's suppose these are 2 bars, top view is there. Okay, so the distance from center to center will be called as effective cover. Okay, and from corner to corner, from inner corners, okay, this will be called as clear or nominal cover. All right, you can note down these basic things, okay, and recall them for the next session. Okay, so what we have seen till now, we have talked about the design mix, clear cover. What is the difference between effective cover and clear cover? Okay, now let's move further. We'll discuss about the shuttering period. So there are members: vertical framework to column, walls, beam. Whatever is the vertical framework. Okay, vertical framework like shuttering in columns, shuttering in walls. Okay, shuttering in beams. Where in beams? Vertical frameworks. Okay, so the shuttering period will be 24 to 48 hours. Okay, framework to slab. Okay, this will have shuttering period of 3 days. Okay, props to be refixed immediately after removal. When you will remove the shuttering, immediately you have to fix the props. This is the condition. Okay, then framework to beams. Shuttering period is 7 days. Okay, props will be refixed immediately after the removal of shuttering. All right, then when you will remove the props in slab can be removed after 7 days or 14 days, depending on the situation. If the span of your slab is up to 4.5 meter, then you can remove the props after 7 days. Okay, if it is greater than, okay, if the span is greater than 4.5, then you can remove after 14 days. All right, Okay. Props and beam can be removed after if the span is up to 4.5 meter, then after 14 days. And if the span is greater than 4.5 meter, then you can remove after 21 days. All right. So this was the basic about the shuttering period you need to remember. Guys, please put your mics off. Then there is a basic checklist for the framework, okay, or for the foam work, okay. Then one more small difference, basic difference. What is the difference between shuttering and shunting? Okay, so whatever which support vertical members, that will be covered as shuttering, and whatever will support your horizontal member, that will be called as shunting. Okay, and there is a checklist. Prop should be always perpendicular to the slab. Whenever you will fix a prop, let's suppose this is your slab, this should always be slab. Okay. In case of wooden props, distance between one prop to another prop will be 600 to 700 mm. Okay, not more than this. Not more than this. In case of steel props, distance can be 900 to 1200 mm. Okay, if it is a steel prop, then you can provide distance up to 1200 mm. So which is good to use steel props. Okay, which is good to use steel props. Then brick should not be used when length of prop is shortened. We can use concrete cube. You have seen several times whenever you will see some house is constructed around your locality, you will see that if props is getting shorter, they'll put a brick. They will just put a brick. But this is wrong. Why? Because first thing is this will not provide any stability. Okay, because the load is very much from the top. Okay, and this brick cannot provide the sufficient support. All right, so you will see that this brick will get break. Okay, so instead of using this brick, clay brick, you can use concrete cube. If required, you can use concrete cube. Okay, then bracing should be used for stability. Okay, for the better stability, you can use bracings in between two props. Before casting slab, provide hard strata in the base floor where props are to be rest. Okay, before casting the slab, before pouring concrete into the slab, what you have to do, you have to provide some base, hard base, wherever your props are going to stand. Okay, you need to provide a hard strata. Use flex banners instead of polythene. Okay, you might have seen that when concrete is being poured on slabs or anywhere, laborers are using polythenes. Okay, so instead of using that polythene, use banner, flex banner. Okay, these are the just normal banners which you see. Okay, flags, you can use that material instead of using polythene. Okay, then use label pipe to remove the error. Then what is label pipe? You might have seen. Okay, when slab is being casted, you'll see a label pipe. They'll just take a label. Okay, and they will sit at this corner and this corner, and then they will see, okay, if there is any error or something. Okay, with the use of this, they will just put the water inside, and with the help of bubble, they will check if there is any error. So these are the things which are need to be done. These are the kind of checklist. Okay, then just move further. Unit conversion: 1 foot equals to 12 inches, 1 meter 100 centimeter, 1 centimeter 10 mm, and 1 inch is equals to 8 sooth. All right, so this one small thing you have to remember, kind of relationship: 1 foot 12 inches, okay, and Second, 1 inch is equal to 8 su. All right, so these are the two things you need to remember. All right. So let's move further. Let us discuss about the types of bar used in construction. Okay. So we just have one more bar. You might have heard, I don't know, FE 500D. Okay. If you guys knows about this, put yes on the chat box. Okay. So basically we are using three kinds of bar: FE 250, FE 415, and FE 500. Okay. FE 250 is plain bar, just a plain bar. Plain bar means it will have a smooth surface around. Then FE 415 HYSD. Okay. It have ribs. What are ribs? Rings in the bar at 10 mm center to center at 45 degree. All right. How it will looks like? This will be a bar. There will be rings. Distance will be 100 mm center to center. And this is called your ribs. So this is how your FE 415 will looks like. Although it is written there, you will find in a bar, it will be written somewhere. Okay. But you should know how it looks like. Okay. Then FE 500. It have ribs and lugs both. What is this? Ribs I have already told you, and then it will have two straight lines, lugs, at both the corners. One this and one this. All right. HYST, high yield strength deformed bar. Okay. Then one more thing. Now, when we will be doing quantity estimation, all right, when we will be doing quantity estimation, although we are going to study about the bar bending schedule also in this session itself, but when we will be doing quantity estimation, then you will see that we are not calculating the quantity of, we will just ignore it. Okay. Like if I'll take a small example, if I'll say this is a cube. Okay. This is a cube. And there is one bar. And there is one more bar. Okay. Then we will calculate the quantity of concrete for this cube just using the formula of what? Volume. All right. But there is some space which has been taken from these two bars. We are not neglecting them. Okay. We are not neglecting them. Right. We are not subtracting these things while calculating the quantity of concrete. Okay. So we'll see why we are not doing all those things. So we ignore these small things. And at the end, what we do, we take 110 kg of steel per cubic meter of reinforcement, 110 kg of reinforcement per cubic meter. Okay. We assume it during the estimation and billing. All right. We don't calculate separately. Okay. We just assume it. Whatever the quantity of concrete comes, we assume that this will be the amount of reinforcement. All right. Although we are going to study about the BBS, how you will calculate the quantity of steel. All right. But this is just a basic assumption. What we do, 110 kg per meter cube. And this is not, there's no any big logic behind this. This is just based on experience. All right. 110 kg per meter cube. Then let's move further, discuss about the fly ash bricks. Standard size of brick is 190 into 19 into 90 mm. And nominal size of brick 200 into 20 into 20. All right. This could be a question. You can note down this. Okay. What is the difference between a standard size and what is the difference between nominal size? Then only fly ash brick is present in standard size in the market and its strength is 12 Newton per mm square. All right. So only fly ash brick is present in this standard size. All right. While the clay burn brick standard size are not available, but it is available in 3 categories. Okay, what are those categories? First class brick, second class brick, and third class brick. You already have studied all these things in your college. To know here, you just need to know the strength. In case of fly ash brick, what is the strength? This will be 12 Newton per mm square. All right. In case of clay burn brick, for first class brick, it will be something approx 10.5 Newton per mm square. Okay. In case of second class brick, it will be 6 to 7 Newton per mm square. In case of third class brick, it will be something around 3 to 3.5 Newton per mm square. Only negativity with the fly ash brick is that it is not heat absorbent. Okay. It is not heat absorbent. All right. Now, a definition of estimation to calculate the total number of quantity and its cost for each and every structural member in construction project is called as quantity estimation. Okay. So if you'll calculate the total number of quantity, then it will be called as quantity estimation. And if you'll multiply it with the rate, it will give you what it will give. It's a kind of billing that you are getting the amount, total amount. All right. So in estimation, what we are going to use here, one thing is SOR, schedule of rate. Okay, this is a document which is provided by your CPWD or state PWD. SOR, schedule of rate, where you will have rates for all the type of works. Okay, if you want to get the SOR of building work, you can get. If you want to get the SOR of road work, you can get. So whatever is the kind of work, you can get the SOR of schedule of rate. There, they will provide all the rates, okay, for every kind of work. Okay, there are a lot of conditions. Then second thing is BOQ, bill of quantity. Okay. So from BOQ, you will get the quantity. Okay. And from SOR, you will get the rate. So you have got the quantity, you have got the rates, you can multiply it. Okay. And you will get the total estimation, total estimated cost as well. Okay. From estimation, you have quantity, and from SOR, you have rate. And then finally, you get the total amount or total cost. Now, one important suggestion to all of you. Okay. Just go and download the SOR of any state PWD or CPWD. Okay. And if you are a fresher, okay, even if you are a working professional, go and read the SOR, because when you will read the SOR, you'll get an idea how the work is being executed. Okay. You'll get the process as well for everything. And there are several chapters for earthwork separately. Okay. For different kind of work, there are chapters for finishing work. Okay. For plantation and all. And there are several conditions. If you are doing excavation in a hard rock, then there are separate conditions. If you are doing excavation in a mud soil, there are several conditions. So there are different conditions. You'll get to know how the work is being executed. All right. So go and download the SOR of any state PWD or CPWD and just in your free time start reading that. All right. It will give you a very good knowledge. All right.
And so from where we can download that SOR uh, from their website or
can just search in a Google, okay, of whatever state you want. Let's suppose I want from Chhattisgarh, then I'll simply type uh, SOR of Chhattisgarh PWD for building work. That's all. You'll just get a link.
okay, sir.
Okay.
And sir, there is a 3 to 5% reinforcement volume. I didn't get that in the note
Yeah.
section.
Okay. All right. As the reinforcement volume is 3 to 5% of total in concrete, so we ignore it during the calculation of quantity. What I told you in the previous slide, that let's suppose this is the cube, okay, and while calculating the quantity, okay, while calculating the quantity, even there are reinforcement, okay, but we ignore this, okay. Simply we calculate the volume of this, and whatever the volume will be there, we'll say that this is the quantity of concrete. All right, we ignore this. We don't subtract the volume of these bars. Why? Because there are a lot of structural engineers as well. Okay, so if you'll find what is the total contribution in a volume of reinforcement, so it is not more than 3 to 5%, okay, in a total volume. So we just ignore this. We ignore this while calculating the quantities. All right, got the point? We don't subtract separately calculating the volume of these bars and then we will subtract from this total volume. We don't do these kind of things. We simply calculate the quantity of this with the help of volume, and we will say that this is the total quantity of concrete. Okay, so this is just a small point to be noted. If suppose someone will ask you that why don't you have calculated the volume of these reinforcement separately and why you are not doing those kind of things, you can give a simple answer. Okay, so this is the reason why we ignore this. Okay, so these are the some basic points. Let's move further, discuss about few things about construction project. A project is a series of related tasks which, when are carried in a correct order, will lead you to the completion of project, generally resulting in creation of product or outcome. Okay, so what is project? Is just a sequence of activities. Okay, sequence of activities. If you will follow the sequence in a correct order, you will lead to the completion of the project. And what will be the result? You will come with the creation of any product or outcome. Anything. It's not only about the construction project, anything. Okay, you have projects, several kind of projects in every industry. So if you have any product or outcome and you have planned that these are my activities, if I'll follow these activities in a proper sequence, then I'll finally get this output. All right, so that is a project only. All right, but if I'll talk about the construction industry, let's take some example. There are building projects. In building projects, we have residential projects, non-residential, commercial buildings. All right, then engineering projects, okay, civil projects, service project, okay, they may be related to some other things as well. All right, then the nature of project. This is something important. What is the nature of project? Every project have a specific objective to be completed within a certain specifications. There will be some specifications, okay, and you have to take care of those. You have to take care of the specific objective of that project. So within certain specification, you have to complete your project. When you sign a contract, there are two things: general condition, specific conditions. All right, so second point is have definite start and end date. That is, project is time bounded. This is important to be noted. All right, this is important to be noted, that project is time bounded. Okay, you have some definite boundation of time. Within that limited time, you have to complete your project. Have fund limited. funding limitation is there, project is cost bounded. If there is a limited fund available, that means that your project is also cost bounded. Okay. Consume human and non-human resources, that is labor, equipment, materials. That means project is resource bounded. It may not happen that you will just go with unlimited number of resources. Somehow, sometime you will have limitation of resources as well. All right. So project is also resource bounded. Okay. Then to fulfill the required quality needs, that is project is quality bounded. So these are the 4 parameters, okay, which you have to take care. Like time is there, cost is there, resources are there, quality parameters is there. So these are the 4 important things for a civil engineer to take care of. And if you will disturb any of the parameter, it is going to disturb other parameters as well. All right. Understand the point? If you will have over and off one particular thing, it will disturb other things. All right. If you have
service project, which type of project will come? Service project.
See, they are related to different fields. Okay. Service project, any kind of project which is being executed for providing some kind of services.
Sir means what, sir? For example,
Service, see, like if there is some project like
Can it be like water distribution or
yeah,
design
yeah,
for SPs?
yeah, that is a perfect example. Okay, what we called in water resource, where that all purification, all those things happens,
It's a treatment plants.
treatment plants and all, right? So that kind of project as well. Any project which is for some purpose where service are to be done. Okay, that is related to that kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay. So these
Okay,
are the
sir.
important parameters which are to be taken care. All right. And one more important point. Let me discuss one more important point. That there are 2 things. One is duration. Okay. If you have discussed about the Primavera, if you have learned Primavera from anywhere or somehow, but you will come across 2 things. One is duration and one is resources. Okay. So let me clear out this point. At this particular moment, we are discussing about all those things. You'll see that people will say how we will calculate the duration. Okay. When you will deal with the Primavera, well, you will prepare some kind of schedule or something. If you are in a planning field, then people will ask you, or the student will ask you that how I'll calculate the duration. Okay. And second thing is how you will calculate the number of resources. There are 2 questions. Okay. You need to know both the points. This is very correct. How to estimate the duration and how to calculate the resources as well. All right. But this is okay to know. But how real things are working? Try to understand. Have you seen any contract document which will say that you have to complete this particular project within 1,000 number of resources only? You cannot take more than 1,000 resources. Is there any condition like that? Or you have seen contract of people talking about that we have gotten project and we have to complete it into 5 years or 2 years within the given time. Okay. So how it is working? That every time you will be bounded with the time, not with the resources. All right. So you have nothing to do with the estimation of duration. Okay. Or you can say this is not in your hand. Okay. That you have got some project and I'll complete after 15 years. because I have limited resources, right? You cannot say like this. The client has already bounded you with the time. All right. So this is not in your hand at this moment. Okay. And this comes with the experience. Execution team is there. They plan out how they can finish the complete work within 2 years. If you have got a contract and you have to complete this project in 2 years, that means you will increase, if required, you will increase the resources. All right. So the question is to calculate the number of resources you will require so that you can finish the project within the given time. So this is the sequence which is being followed in the industry, right? You need to know the difference between these two. What is being followed? It's better to know both the things. And if I'll talk about the duration, how you'll estimate the duration, it's a simple unitary method, nothing else. Whatever in quantity estimation, billing, these things are, there's nothing M1, M2 which you have studied in the college. All right. There will be no integration, differentiation, or anything like in whatever the mathematics you have studied. These are just the basic things, basic calculation, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, percentage. That's all, nothing else. What is an estimation? Nothing else, just the basic calculation. So estimating about the duration, what is that? Basic unitary method. If the productivity of one particular labor is this much, if I'll give some number, if I'll give some amount, then if you have these number of resources with you, if you have 5 labors, then you will multiply with the productivity of one labor. This is the productivity, complete productivity, which you can do, which you can execute at the site. Then the total scope of that work. Let's suppose you have 500 cubic meter of concrete to be done at site, and your one labor can do 100, all right, or 50, let's suppose, and you just have 2 labors. So 50 plus 50, 100, and total scope is how much? 500. So how many days you will take? 500 divided by 100, that's all, 5 days is the duration. So that is just a simple thing, how you'll calculate the duration. But to know how you will calculate the resources, that is important, and that we will see in this session, not in today's session, during this course as well. Okay, we'll use the productivity sheet of CPWD, how we will calculate the resources. So that is important, how to calculate the resources. All right. Okay. Okay. So if I'll broadly divide the construction process, then we will have 4 processes. Okay, 4 steps. One is initiation, then planning, then execution, and then controlling and monitoring. Okay, so what is about the initiation? Objective and initial scope. Okay, financial analysis. Okay, stakeholder analysis, formal approval. So these are the responsibilities which are to be covered during this stage, initiation stage. You'll have to define the objective of your project, okay, or the concept, okay, why you need that project. Okay, let's suppose if you need a school, okay, in your city, then you need to make a building. That's the objective, that I need a school. And initial scope, all right, what will be the purpose, all right, of that particular building, and a lot of other things in the scope, detailed scope. Then financial analysis, how much money you have. If you don't have, then who is going to fund you? Okay, who will be the funding agency? Okay, then stakeholder analysis, who are the stakeholders which will be involved in the project? Okay, then formal approvals, what are the approvals you need from government, from your local governance body, and all those things. Okay, so these all things are to be done at the initiation stage. Then comes it planning. Here you'll get the detailed scope. Then cost estimation and budgeting, procurement planning, team development, quality assurance, risk analysis, okay, work breakdown structure, activities and sequence, schedule development. Okay, schedule development is here, baseline schedule. Have you heard about this? What is the difference between baseline schedule and further updated schedule? If you have heard, then just write yes. Okay, so Sooth is just a unit Dhruv. Okay. Yes, 550D. Yeah. What is work order? Okay, I'll tell what is work order. Okay. So most of you have not heard. Okay, whose question was that? Work order. Sushant. Okay, so Sushant, there are a lot of things which are related to contract. Okay, what is RFP? Okay, what is LOA? Okay, what is work order? These are the things. So what I'll do, I'll tell you what is work order today. So this is a good question. Okay, so what I'll do in the next session, I'll tell you about basic about all those terminologies. Okay, not in detail. Okay, because this is not a contract management session. Okay, but in basic about the contract management, I'll touch just terminologies. All right. So what happened when you get some contract? Okay, then there is a LOA, letter of award. Client will award you the contract with the help of that document. You will get letter of award that yes, this particular contract has been awarded to you. All right. After awarding the contract, you'll get the work order. Okay, this is also kind of document itself. You'll get the work order that yes, now you can mobilize your resources and you can start working. Okay. So this just give you this permission. This document gives you this particular permission that yes, you can mobilize your resources and start working. And from that particular stage, you can start working. Okay, so that's just a basic difference between LOA and work order. Okay, there are a lot of things, kickoff meeting and all those. We'll try to cover. Okay, we'll try to cover basics. If you have these kind of things, if you feel like you can put something, you can share with others as well. So you can put these kind of topics. We will try to cover basic things about those topics. All right. Then, okay. Then comes next stage. Okay, I was here, schedule development, baseline schedule. So these things are just detail scope, cost estimation and budget, procurement planning. Procurement planning means everything, whatever you need to procure, materials, everything. All right. Team development. Okay. How many engineers you need, what will be the higher management team. Okay, so all team management, quality assurance, risk analysis. This is important, quite important, and something new. Everybody does not care about this or does not talk about this. Then WBS, work breakdown structure, activity and sequencing, schedule development. All right, so what is baseline schedule? See, there are two things. One is baseline schedule, when you will prepare your schedule in a Microsoft project or in Primavera. So whatever the initial planning you do, whatever the first time schedule you create, that is called your baseline schedule. All right. It will look like something this. Let's suppose this is a bar. You all have seen the schedule. All right. At least you have seen photos and all. Okay. So this is how your schedule looks like. Color these activities. So the first thing, before your execution work starts, whatever schedule you will prepare, that yes, this is my schedule. I'm going to follow this schedule while executing the work at site. All right. So your execution work, that is called your baseline schedule or plan schedule. When you will start working, execution will be on site. Then you'll have to update this baseline schedule. All right. Then let's suppose you have planned that you will start this on 1st of January and you'll end this activity on 7th of January. All right. This is the bar which is representing one activity in a baseline schedule. But in actual what happened, you have started that activity on 2nd of Jan. So this is the variance. You have planned to start on 1st, but you have started on 2nd. So this is the variance. All right. So this is called the baseline schedule. The schedule you prepare at the initial stage that yes, this is the schedule I'm going to follow. That is your baseline schedule. Okay. Then during the execution stage, award of contract. Okay. Contract administration. Okay. Execution as per plan, coordinating with various agencies and stakeholders. Resolution of issues. If there are any issues, then you have to resolve them. Then data and information collection. This is very important nowadays. Generally, we civil engineer don't bother about these things, data, information, all right? Okay, we just care about aggregate, cement, sand, bricks, that's all, okay? But yes, this is very important nowadays when you are getting into the technology, data and information, those things are very important, all right? As a civil engineer, you should know these things, that what are the things, what are the scope of technology in your field as well. Okay, this will help you a lot. All right. But normally we don't know when we are in a college that how we can relate our civil engineering with data science and all those things. What are the things we okay, we will discuss about closing this thing. Okay. Then at the last stage, this is controlling and monitoring. Okay. What we'll do in this stage, monitoring against plan, as I told you here. Okay. Analyze the progress, catch up plan. If we know that we are late, we are delayed, then we have to make some plan to catch that delay. All right. So that plan will be called as catch up plan. Then scope change control. If there is a change in scope from contractor side, from client side, or whatever reason, you have to control that change as well. Quality control and risk analysis. So you have seen risk analysis at controlling stage as well and at the initial stage as well. So what is the difference between these two risk analysis? We'll discuss, and about this data and information collection. All right. So this is the basic things. Then we will move further for quantity estimation. Okay. So for today, this is just enough. Okay, we'll talk about those two. Okay. And one more thing, guys, see, we will go in a sequence. First of all, it's important to know basics. That's why I'm going with these basics. I'm going with the process. Then I'll go with the quantity estimation. Okay, because while learning billing, or you can't directly become a billing engineer. Okay, first you have to know the quantity estimation. All right, you have to know rate analysis. You have to know bar bending schedule. Then after that, you can go for billing things. All right, and billing is nothing, just if you know all these things, billing is just quite easy. Just basic calculation. What is billing? If I'll give you something that, yeah, I have went to the mart and I have purchased these things. These are the number of items and this is the rate list. Just multiply it and get the total quantity. Okay, so billing is just as simple. Not as simple as well. You need to know a lot of different things. But yes, all those things are very easy. Just we'll go in a sequence during this session. All right. So for today, this is enough. All right. So I was just discussing about 2 points. First one is risk analysis. How many you know about the risk analysis? There was one student from CPM. He might be knowing it better. Procurement planning means, Ankit, procurement planning, whatever the things you need to procure. It may be material, it may be machinery, it may be manpower. Okay, so you need to plan that how much resources or how much quantity of material you'll have at site before starting your work, or at what particular stage you will need what quantity of material. This is the work of this is the work of quantity surveyor and billing engineers, that you have to estimate the things and you have to tell your management that this much quantity of steel we need before starting this work, or this much steel or this much concrete should be available at site before executing this particular activity. So this is all about the procurement planning. You should know at what particular stage you need what quantity, and is it available at site or your store or not. So all right, this is the kind of planning. Okay, that CPM guy, you know about the risk analysis.
Yes, sir. Sir, in a project, before execution of process, the project, starting the process,
Right.
there is a need to find the hazard that can happen during a project. These can be safety hazards or can be due to the failure of the structure or what we are doing. So there are various types of risks that can be present during a project. So we have to analyze this before the project, during the project, and after completion of the project. Like we have to do service to something and do maintenance of something. So risk analysis is a very major part of any project right now.
All right. Yes, yes. You are correct. We need to monitor the risk from the beginning to the end. Right.
And for maintenance purposes also.
Yeah. Okay. So there's one question, sir. While casting the slab, the concrete quantity is 100 cubic meter as per drawing. While concreting, will it be more than 100 or less than that? Please answer. See, it depends. Like you always see, if you are measuring with the help of drawing, and if the quantity is coming 100 cubic meter, all right, then you have to take it more. Okay, because there are lot of other factors as well. All right, wastage is there. Who will calculate the wastage? Okay, so whatever the exact quantity is coming from your drawing, it's not like that you will just need that exact amount. All right, you always have to take more than that. Okay, yeah, you can control the wastage, but after some limitation, like you can't control that real wastage. All right, so yes, it will be more than that if your drawing is correct. Okay, okay, so we were discussing about, and one more thing, guys. See, please don't hesitate. If you are not if you are comfortable in any of the language, you can either talk in English, either talk in Hindi. All right, if it is more than 100 cubic meter, can we claim it? Yes, you can claim it, but depending on the situation. We'll discuss all those things when you get BOQ from client. All right, if there is an escalation or change in scope, or what may be the reason, there will be several reasons where you can claim. All right, we'll discuss, don't worry. We are just in the very first lecture today. Okay, we don't ignore it, we calculate. See, if I'm casting a slab, okay, I'll calculate every material. While casting the slab, I'll need this particular concrete, I'll need this particular steel. Okay, we are not ignoring it, but while calculating the quantity of concrete, we ignore the space occupied by the steel reinforcement. That is all the thing. Okay, that is just a small thing. All right, guys. So one small point to share. Like we were discussing about the that guy has already told you about the risk analysis. We do risk analysis before starting the project as well, and while executing to the end stage. Okay, there may be several kind of risk involved in the project, and you have to estimate. There is a formula of risk. Okay, the basic formula is what? Probability into consequences. Okay, okay, this is the basic formula. What is the probability of happening that incident multiplied what will be the consequences if it happens? So based on that you will get some amount, and then you will just categorize it. Okay, that this, if the number is coming from, you'll make a risk matrix. Okay, then you will decide that if the number is coming from this to this, we'll say that low risk, from this to this medium risk, this to this high risk. So this is the kind of thing. All right, while let's suppose, then what you will do, if you have calculated several risks, then you will prioritize those risks, that where your risk is coming high. If it is low, no need to bother about that. Okay, but if it is high, you need to monitor those things. You have to monitor it completely, whether the status is changing or not, that high risk is coming into low, or it may happen that low risk is coming to high. So you have to keep monitoring those things, and finally with some planning and all, you have to mitigate those risks. So this is just a scenario you need to know. Okay, then talking about that data and information thing, see guys, we are a civil engineer. Okay, from the beginning itself we are coming, we are listening that we don't have jobs in our field and blah blah blah. There are a lot of things. Okay, everybody go with that process as well. Okay, and you will keep saying people that yeah, IT guys have better life and those, yeah, there are several points. All right, so you need to know what is important to know, why IT people have life. Okay, and why you say that civil engineering we don't have better job market, we don't have opportunities, why they have. Okay, why the salary is low in civil engineering field. Okay, you need to know as a civil engineer field, or if you are jumping into something, you first need to know why it is happening. All right, why the salary is low and how you can raise that. Okay, why the salary is high in IT, and if you want to raise your salary, how you can raise it. Okay, so someday we'll discuss about all those things, how the technology is impacting the civil engineering, how that can be a better career opportunity, and all those things, what you can learn, what you can do, what are the roles in that field as well. Today you'll see, if you'll see, we have most of you have heard about SAP. Okay, people are doing billing with the help of SAP. Okay, no, in very big organization, no one is preparing DPRs in a paper or Excel sheet. We have mobile application. Site engineer will update through the mobile application, and there we'll get the result on dashboard. So this is the technology, how it is impacting the civil engineering. You need to know about these emerging fields as well. All right, so someday we will discuss about those opportunities as well. So this is all for today. Okay, we'll have 1 hour session from Monday to Saturday. TNC applied. If you guys will learn everything faster, and if you'll come up, as I discussed earlier, come up with the laptops and all, if you will cover fast, then we will go smoothly. Otherwise we have to take Sunday also, Sunday as well. So it totally depends on you. If you want to enjoy Sunday, you can learn things faster. Okay, all right, otherwise we have to sit for Sunday as well sometime. All right, so this will be the timing, 1 hour daily from Monday to Saturday. All right, and yes, if you have, don't hesitate. There is no foundation with the language or anything. Whatever the doubts you have, you can put it on the chat box during the session as well. When I'll get the time, I'll discuss about those. All right, thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.